First of all, I'd like us all just to take a collective deep breath because I think we're all kind of holding our breath. So, Ninanaskawan Gasakitin, Wachiniswe, Okamakanik, Okamakanish Gashehawk, Nesta Oshkanilak, RoseAnne Archibald, Natishagasan, Dagotagmo, Ishkatel Golichian. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to acknowledge the Creator, the world around us, and our place within it. And miigwech to the Anishinaabe Algonquin nations for welcoming us to their traditional, unceded, unsurrendered territories. And I acknowledge our Zoom participants on the traditional territories that they are on as well. Miigwech to our host officials, Chief Dylan Whiteduck, Kitigan Zibi, and Ontario Regional Chief Glenn Hare for hosting us and welcoming us. Miigwech to Elder Wayne McKenzie and Kokomas Roberta Oshkabewisons for the sunrise ceremony and the prayers that were lifted up by 5 pipes this morning. I also want to say miigwech to Elder Rose Baudouin for opening our gathering in a good way. And I want to acknowledge the drum, the Eagle River Singers, and all of the sacred items that are connected to this meeting all across Turtle Island. Miigwech to our co-chairs, Weena and Adam. I want to thank you in advance for getting us through a very full agenda. We plan on having a productive and positive meeting, and we're determined to get the work done. Welcome to the 2022 Special Chiefs Assembly. We made it, Chiefs. Thank you for continuing to stand by me and the regional chiefs. We've overcome many barriers and difficult moments since July. We've kept moving, as Rose talked about, like the sacred nibi, water, that we hold as sacred and that we fight to protect. Water holds important knowledge about life. One of my favorite quotes is, "A river will cut a new path whenever it meets an obstacle." And together with the regional chiefs, we navigated the complications arising from the changes that were proposed at the AGA. And change, even positive change, will always be met with drawbacks and discomfort. But we kept moving along what we call the healing path forward. As National Chief, I had to remain grounded and to remember that peace begins with me. This week, we're gathering in the spirit of healing, in the spirit of cooperation, and in the spirit of lifting each other up. I spent 33 years in leadership cleaning up political messes, and I continue to stand for truth, transparency, and accountability. I campaigned on those values. I've stood by those values. And they're why I stand here today as your duly elected National Chief. The most important issue facing my work as National Chief is intergenerational trauma. I recognize that I am an intergenerational trauma survivor. I often quote Dr. Pamela Toulouse, who wrote that 100% of First Nations people suffer from intergenerational trauma. 100%. That's the direct impact of those institutions of assimilation and genocide. The events that led up to and occurred during the AGA are an example of the reverberations that continue today from those institutions. Yesterday, we met as an executive committee. We discussed our imminent need to demonstrate to you, chiefs, our leadership, that we are supporting each other, that we are getting to work. And we are serious about that work with a plan to walk the healing path forward. This healing path is made with you and your communities in our minds and in our hearts. It's one that is respectful of regional and community concerns and needs. Our plan is based on some fundamental principles that we discussed yesterday. One, we will not perpetuate this ongoing conflict. We will be respectful and inclusive and unified. And we will avoid unhealthy situations and seek the help of a mediator to move us back into productive dialogue and work. You've trusted us to resolve this. Now, with that trust, we're going to be doing the necessary work in the background to fix our issues at the relationship and organizational level, while we work with you on your community and region's issues in the forefront. We will not let you down. Together, we can demonstrate for everyone watching that we can free ourselves from the colonial mindset forced upon our families. We have a sacred responsibility to break the cycle for future generations. Let's remember that conflict is inevitable, but it is a source of all growth and an absolute necessity if one is to be alive. As we keep walking, the regional chiefs and I will model for others how to come back together after a serious conflict. There are items that we need to move forward on, and we can't spend another minute, never mind a chiefs' assembly, in turmoil. Our people are watching, and they're counting on us to create much-needed, positive, and transformational change that will make their lives better. Yes, there are still HR and legal matters that we will resolve in the coming months. We will continue to do so in a good way, illuminating truth, transparency, and accountability, because we know that these are honorable and worthy causes. In the months since the AGA, I've made every effort to heal and create harmony in the working relationships that I have with regional chiefs. In the new year, former Justice and Senator Murray Sinclair will be assisting us with conflict resolution and mediation. In the meantime, I've heard loud and clear from chiefs across Turtle Island, from leadership across Turtle Island, that our important work must continue and not be slowed down by inner conflicts at the AFN. You'll notice that I traveled to many communities since the AGA, all across Turtle Island. And people ask me, why are you traveling to communities so much? And I tell them, I need to be connected to the people that I serve, to listen to them, to sit with them, not only celebrate with them, but to grieve with them. I'm not the national chief who will sit in my office in Ottawa. I'll be on the ground level as well as high level. I care about community-based issues and community-based solutions. Even though it's a national position, I'm always considerate of how our work impacts communities. I've crisscrossed Turtle Island this year, going from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean, traveling through BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Quebec, Ontario, and Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. I was humbled to meet many of you and hold in my heart your triumphs with great reverence, but also bearing witness to your sorrows. Many of our communities are hurting, and our visits impacted me in deep and profound ways. This year I attended funerals, vigils, placed flowers at gravesites in Red Earth Cree Nation for little Frank Young, Pimachikamak Cree Nation for Chief Alex James, Louis Bull for Frankie Wayne Munias, and James Smith Cree Nation for those who lost their lives in the senseless tragedies of September 4th. In November, I learned how much our people are so caring and generous when I tested positive for COVID and spent my isolation period there. In my travels, I was happy to participate in graduations, a celebration in Musqueam, as well as several ceremonies along the Powwow Trail, including stops into Kamloops, Kehewin, Pikwakanagan, Kettle and Stony Point, and the Niagara region with one of my sheroes, Phyllis Webstad. It's always an honor to be invited to your cultural ceremonies. These heal us, they revitalize our teachings and traditions. I want you to know that you matter, that your voice matters, what you say matters, and the direction that you give us matters. I know who's at the heart of this organization, and I need to be close to that heartbeat, the heartbeat of our people. No matter what happens, it's important for us to focus our energies on citizens who need us to advocate and work on their behalf, to lift them out of poverty into prosperity, to move them from moldy homes into safe homes, and to end the apprehension of our children through long-term reform of the child welfare system. While we are healing from intergenerational trauma, I can tell you that one day soon, we will move from being survivors to thrivers. I know that this kind of eternal optimism is what we need. Our little ones need it. Our families need it. Our communities need it. In the National Chief's Office, we've accelerated our work on evolving and updating the PBM MOU with the federal government, as well as submitting a proposal to establish a national prosperity table. There have been many moments in what I like to call herstory, where it was my honor to represent you as National Chief. For example, being one of the 2,000 who were invited to the funeral of our longtime treaty partner, the Crown, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, greeting the Pope when he arrived on Turtle Island for his apology in Musqueam, and recently attending the Grey Cup as the first National Chief to perform the official coin toss, which was a lot of fun. But for the second half of my term, there are many other priorities around healing that I'm looking at, including a renewal of our relationship with the Crown, the establishment of a national healing fund, and ensuring that MMIWG is actioned to ensure safe and protection for our women, and finally, to realize a future where our sisters are loved and cherished and treated with dignity and respect always. I want people to know that I'm not doing this by myself. I'm lucky to have like-minded and like-hearted people in the National Chief's Office, and I want to introduce you to them. And I'd like them to stand when I say their names. My Acting Chief of Staff, Joyce Hunter. My Senior Executive Assistant, Samantha Lickers. My Special Advisors, Donna Simon and Mel Vero. Our new Executive Assistant, Dana Hickey. And our Director of Communications, Andrew St. Germain, and our Junior Communications Officer, Cameron White-Eye. We also have Casey Atchingham, who's our Women's Initiative Coordinator. And online we have Ashley Albert, who does our policy work. So thank you for giving them a round of applause. But for this meeting this year, we have a number of invited guests who are significant. Kim Murray, the Special Interlocutor for Missing Children and Unmarked Graves and Burial Sites, Minister Patty Hajdu, Minister David Lametti, Minister Marco Mendicino, Minister Mark Miller, but also joining us this week are Yves-François Blanchat, who's the leader of the Bloc Québécois, Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP, our own Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau, and we will also have a message from the official opposition, Pierre Poilievre. But I'm looking forward to 3 successful days. I do want to say miigwech again to the regional chiefs across Turtle Island and to all of their staff. They work hard throughout the year. I want to acknowledge the Secretariat staff as well for the great work that they've been doing. And I want you to know, as a National Chief, I support you. I support the leaders in this room. And I love you, and I'll be there when you need me. Let's continue to work on our collective vision of happy, healthy children surrounded by the love and care of their families, living in safe and vibrant communities. We have much work to do, and I'm prepared to do that work. Ninanaskamun gasakitin. Ninanaskamun in my language means I am grateful, I am thankful, I thank you, and gasakitin means I love you.